The ability to nurture highly motivated customer base is essential for the success of every business. But the ability to build a strong customer base can be challenging for many rising stars and, in cases, stars in business.
When you become an influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.
Today, we're going to do a deep dive into the ecosystem of what it takes to build a highly motivated clientele base. Today, we will be looking at this topic. We will look at this topic in the context of market viability in the context of a loyal customer base. So there's a number of things that we will cover in today's program. We will look at how to gain customer and client attention. We will look at how to retain customer and client attention. We will also move on to look at how to attract the client customer for life and how to position your MVO. MVO meaning your minimum or most viable offer. So we have a lot to unpack today. So again, I want to encourage you to get your pens and get your paper because we're going to do a deep dive, high level overview over tips and tricks that can really position you to nurture highly motivated clientele base. Now, let's begin by looking at the very first topic, which is how to gain client customer attention. One of the things that I emphasize in the last 6 to 8 videos that I have published is that it is so important to take the time to understand what is the ideal client stress test ladder. Think about this. You're attempting to get the attention of the ideal client, but then you don't understand who is the ideal client. That is a recipe for disaster. In order for that reality to be changed, it makes sense to really pause a bit and really ask yourself, how much can you learn from the ideal client stress test ladder? And today's exercise is being taken directly from this thesis. Now let's go a little deeper into today's talking point. So you want to gain customer attention. What are some of the first things that you should start to think about? One, you want to identify who is your ideal client. And to identify who is the ideal client, you need data. You need data based on demographic data analytics, psychographic data analytics, and geographic data analytics. And again, I want you to pause and think about this. To gain people's attention, to gain the attention of the ideal client, you need to understand who you're targeting. Again, the ideal client stress test ladder really helps you to understand the biodata markers of your ideal client. So when you're saying that you need to identify the ideal client based on the demographic, psychographic, and geographic, you have a blueprint of which to look at. Any attempt to gain client or customer attention, it makes sense to understand those attention in which you're trying to gain. All right. This is very deep. Again, I will do a high level overview here today, but as we begin to break this program down to our community, when you get into our community, you will get a much deeper understanding as to what is the composition of demographics and what you should be looking at when you want to really identify the ideal clients. We will look at psychographics and what is the composition of psychographics and the menu of things that you should be looking at. And we will also look at the importance of geographics in this whole equation. All right, so food for you to think about. As you collect the data, step one, you also want to analyze data that is presented to you about the ideal client. Again, I cannot emphasize how important the ideal client stress test ladder is. All right, I've done something like an LP here, but I really want to point you in a direction where you can get the information that you need that is going to help you to make informed and highly educated decisions when it comes to nurturing a highly motivated client customer base. You need the right information. The information is the foundation of what you're attempting to do. Just like how a building, you can't build it on quicksand, you can't build it on sand. You want to ensure that the foundation that you're building your luxury home on is a solid foundation. So if you want to grow and scale a business, if you want to cash flow optimize, if you want to position yourself to build wealth, the foundation of doing all of that is to ensure that you truly understand the step-by-step processes, the best practices, the proven theory that is going to give you the predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. You need the information. As you begin to figure out, based on the ideal client stress test ladder, how to gain the customer attention, there's a couple of things that I want you to also focus on. Now that you have collected data, now that you've analyzed that data, the simple ability to analyze the data should put you in that position of strength where you can now up level this data or leverage this data in a way that really allows you to command attention, to pique interest, to arouse desire, to move your ideal client into action, to make impact, to convert, to cash flow optimize. All of these things are essential. But if you don't collect the right information, it means in your analysis is going to be wrong. And in the leveraging of that data to command attention, pique interest, arouse desire, that too is going to be wrong. So there's a process. And when you take the time to understand the process that I'm putting to you at the moment, it will set the stage to minimize the difficulties that you encounter as rising stars and sometimes stars in business to convert, to create that highly motivated customer base. So I'm trusting again that you've taken some notes and you are prepared to implement these concepts. In the event that you need help to interpret and implement, adopt these principles into your organization, we have a team that is so excited to work with you to help you accomplish this. But let's move to the next step forward. You see, as you collect data, as you analyze data, as you leverage data, you have to ensure that you are market oriented, you're market sensitive, and you're market responsive. Why? Because data change, all right? Geographical data may change. And when geographical data change, you have to also adjust your processes based on those changes that are taking place. Demographic data change, and you have to be able to adjust based on those demographic changes that are taking place to ensure that your MVO, your minimum or most viable offer, continue to maintain relevance to the ideal client. So there are four important concepts that we have looked at here on the heading one, which is how to gain client customer attention. The first is that you need to collect critical information about the ideal client. You need to analyze that data. You need to leverage that data. And by leveraging that data means that you're now able to innovate products and services that is 101% relevant to the ideal client. Last but not least, you're able to mitigate the data because market realities changes from time to time. And if you're managing your business and you're not taking this into consideration, possibility exists that you can become obsolete if you're not keeping track of the changes that are taking place. When you are serious about nurturing a highly motivated customer client base, it begins with collecting the right information, analyzing the right information, leveraging information the right way, and being receptive to mitigating data to maintain relevance, to maintain your competitive edge. Important concepts for you to look at. Now, the next concept that I want us to look at, now that you have attained customer attention, how do you retain client customer attention? Because attaining it is one thing, retaining it is quite another. Some of the things that you want to invest in is what we call your customer feedback desk. Do you have a customer feedback desk where you're collecting information, you're analyzing customer feedback, you're leveraging that data to help the business to make informed decisions, and by extension, you're mitigated what needs to be mitigated in alignment with the expectation of the ideal client? Are you focusing on this? Because this is an essential part of the client customer experience. If you want to win, you need to have these systems in place. I want to emphasize a couple of things. Make customer service a priority. You want to invest in making customer service a priority. Create the customer. What you want to do is recognize that the customer must be considered as kings and queens. So you want to create the customer kings and queens culture. I know this might sound a bit childish, but I want you to think about this. It's a strategy. Can you imagine that every customer that comes into your place of business, you roll out the red carpet to them, you provide the high level of customer care, you provide quality service to them, you let them feel in and knowing that they are the most important person the world has ever known? How much is that impacting customer relations? Think about it. These things don't happen by accident. These things happen by intention. I can recall not so long ago, I was looking at the shorts. This young lady was in customer service and she didn't know this guy. Of course, you don't have to know someone to give excellent quality customer care, but he was asking a lot of questions, and regardless of how deep he went, asking non-personal questions, she was very polite and she was very responsive to the questions that he had. At the end of the day, he gave her a tip, and then he left and he come back and he said, I give you the wrong tip. I know the average person might say, you give me a tip and now you're taking it back, and they would have showed vexation. With a big smile on her face, she said, oh my, no problem. And she gave him back the tip. And what he did amused her and brought her to tears, because he said, I give you $20, but you're worth more than $20. You're worth more than gold because of the attitude that you bring to customer care. And he placed a few $100 US dollars in her hand because of the impact she had on him. And I want you to think about this. These are things that you can duplicate in your business. And when you're able to achieve this level of impact on the customer, it is laying that foundation where you're nurturing that highly motivated client customer base. These are things you must be intentional with. Make the customer feedback desk a priority. Do you have a customer feedback desk? Are you collecting information from that desk on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, or perhaps a daily basis, so you can quickly analyze customer feedback? You have a system in place where you are encouraging customers, or perhaps even incentivizing customer feedback, because that is market intelligence. All right. In this particular case, because you have the customer that are coming to you, you have an environment that can be easily set up to interface with the ideal client. When you're doing a market survey, you are surveying 100 persons, and perhaps out of that 100 persons, you might get 10 persons who might be the ideal client. In this particular case, because they're coming to your place of business, 101% of the ideal client, of the clientele base, are the ideal client. They're at your location of business. So why waste this opportunity to do continuous research, data collection, to ensure that you are one step ahead of the customer service experience process? Important concepts for you to think about. So make the customer feedback desk a priority. Set it up in a way where you perhaps have a subject matter expert who is collecting that data on a daily basis and analyzing the data and interfacing with senior management to respond to the ideal client's concern. There's a saying, turn a deaf ear to the customer is one of the reasons why so many businesses end up in the graveyard. Now you have an opportunity to deploy innovative thinking, the best of quality customer care, to nurture the highly motivated workforce. What are some other tips that you can deploy? Customer quick feedback desk. How long does it take to give feedback? How long does it take? Someone makes a purchase and they have a concern. How long does it take you to get feedback? What I can do is share some of my experiences in terms of feedback. I could recall a little while ago, I had to purchase 2 gis. Now, if you don't know what is a gi, the gi is the outfit that martial arts specialist wears. My entire family practice Shotokan martial arts, so I had to ship the gi in because my 2 sons had to participate in the World Cup, World Tournament, and of course they're good at what they're doing. They are both gold medalists. I could recall, however, at one time and we were like about 5 days away from the event, and something went wrong with the order, not on our side. But I immediately got to the phone and I made a call and I said, explain what happened. And I asked, what is the fastest period that you guys can respond to this? Unfortunately, they had a quick response desk. They say within 24 hours, we will not only resolve the problem, but we will ensure that the product is in your hands. Of course, just a little over 24 hours, we had the delivery personnel knock on the door and the goods was delivered. And that time it was coming closer and closer and closer to the period. And my son was all anxious and so forth. But when he heard it was delivered, he had the biggest, brightest smile on his face, largely because of that quick response system. So part of your role as, rising stars and stars in business is to put smiles and joy and happiness in people's face. And perhaps having that quick response desk can really be the icebreaker that helps you to put the smile on your client customer faces. And just think about that. People are happy, they are joyous, they're smiling, all because the service that you have set, the service that you have provided, that experience, that high level of customer care that you have created for them. This goes a very far way again in nurturing highly motivated workforce, highly motivated customer base, not workforce. But it goes a very, very far way. All right. It goes a far way. The customer now, because they experience this high level of responsiveness by your organization, they are not only talking with family and friends, and they are now not only referring others to you, but the possibility exists that they might be doing a podcast just like what I'm doing that's allowing me to reach hundreds of thousands of persons in a short period of time. And they are promoting you. You're getting free advertising because of the quality of work that you have done to ensure that the customer have the best experience. So having a quick response desk can work. And some of the features of that desk could be you have a 24 hours customer service desk. And yes, and when you're doing international business, you need to know that you have these type of facilities in place. And let me say another reason for this. In doing international business, you find that you have different time zones. And because you have different time zones, it is absolutely necessary to create that 24-hour desk. And yes, you have AI that can support in that process, but having a physical person there always helps. Because people today are still beginning to get adjusting to, AI answering question, AI giving feedbacks. And I want to say AI has gone so far that you can complete an entire business transaction just interfacing with AI. What are some of the other things that you can do to influence that client-customer relation, to nurture that highly motivated client-customer base? Money back guarantee plays a role. And only yesterday I was speaking with a professor, and he's an expert in marketing and business. He has written many theses, and his thesis that's been adopted has allowed him to become a professor at one of the top universities. So we have been digging into some of these conversations, and money back guarantee can play a very pivotal role in releasing some of the stress that customer may have, and also help them to become more motivated to invest with you. So these are concepts that you want to think about. 24 hours problem solving desk. And if you're able to set up your quick response unit to solve a problem in 24 hours or less, that is a powerful strength for you to have. And I want to pause a bit just to bring my audience back to where we're at. We are still looking at market viability in the context of the SWOT analysis. And what we are doing here, we're going into some of the strengths that you want your business to have. These strengths can really set you up to have the competitive advantage. All right. So we're doing a deep dive into strengths that you want to have. And I think that we have looked at 6 concepts so far over the last few broadcasts of essential strengths that you want to have. And one of the strengths that we're looking at today is the strength of having a strong customer base, is how you're investing in nurturing a highly motivated client customer base. So these things that we're talking about are strengths that you need to adopt to the organization to put your business in that win-win situation. So coming back to today's topic, I want us now to look at the Customer Appreciation Day. When last have you hosted hosted or perhaps even taught about your Customer Appreciation Day. And the Customer Appreciation Day can take many forms, many forms. Perhaps you can have a 20% discount. You can have a buy one, get one free, just food for thought. You can have sponsor a family day of entertainment. And all of this can be designed strategically. And think about it. You have new products that you want to launch, and you want this launch to coincide with your Customer Appreciation Day. So you host a fun day, all expense on you, and you have new innovation, new products on display, and you're inviting your customer base, and perhaps you're inviting the public to come be part of that. Think about the loyal customers who are already with you. Think about how they feel that you're now inviting them to a family fun day, because there are many persons value family, but because your company has now hosted a family fun day, your customer writes you in their good book. All right. I love this company because they give me time to spend with my family, and I always have fun at Family Fun Day. Another reason for them to want to be highly motivated client customer, because you're not doing business only focusing on cash flow optimization. You're doing business and you're thinking how to bring joy, happiness, and excitement to your customer base. You see, to win in business and to win in life, you have to create win-win situations. All right, you have to create win-win situations. And in sales and in marketing, as a sales communication professional, you are charged with the responsibility to constantly identify ways in which you can build strengths to maintain your customer base and expand on your customer base. And everything that I'm saying here can set you up for success.
Pitch Deck 101 LLC out of New York do more than just support our clients to pitch their businesses to investors access working capital at 0% APR. We also support our clients to grow and scale their businesses faster and cash flow optimize. Pitch Deck 101 LLC recent partnership with 10X Branding Marketing LLC and Global Capital Inc. out of the USA has enabled us to form unique partnership with multiple financial institutions, which means we can do even more to accelerate the success of our clients. Let Pitch Deck 101 LLC give you the support you need to pitch to investors, access capital, access new markets and grow and scale your business. Contact us now on 332-235-1099 for a free consultation.
Why I know this? We do this for a lot of our clients. So, food for thoughts. Now, think about this one. Can you sponsor a family day of financial education? Yes, I have a bias for financial education, but I think it is necessary. In the world today, we have many families want to send their kids to the top university to get exposed to the best quality of education. It takes money to do that. Many families want to buy their first home, so they can relax, free from stress, and ensure that their family have that, security. But it takes money to do that. While it takes money to do all of this, we see families are struggling to make this happen. But what if you're the kind of business leader who is able to demonstrate this kind of care and compassion for your customer base? How is that likely to impact your customer base to say, well, I love shopping here because I get good quality product, but I also get the quality aftercare services that is above and beyond what anyone else offer. They are the best. You are the best. All because you are able to set up, your customer appreciation systems and game plan that touches and transform the lives of your customer base. How are they going to think about you? Think about it. Now, I know the average person might be saying everything that you're going to be talking about is going to be capital intensive, but I'm going to say to you that's crap, because it depends on who is working with you to brainstorm and think tank and develop these systems. And everything that I'm saying to you, when you understand what we understand, you can do all of this at no cost to your company. But guess what else? You do this in the right way. It doesn't cost you, but it also brings massive amounts of money into the pockets, into the purse of the company. All right. So it depends on who's your consultant. It depends on who you're talking to make all of this happen. We know what we can do because this is what we do all the time. Now, financial intelligence is important, and I think any business that can contract the right consultant, if you don't have that knowledge base within, to educate your consumer base on fast, smarter ways to position themselves for financial greatness, they will forever be held in the good book of those families. Think about it. But we're talking today about things that you can do to nurture a highly motivated client customer base. We have two more concepts to look at before we wrap up today's program, but but don't move because we are now beginning to get into some juicy stuff. How to attract customer for life. Is there such a possibility of attracting customer for life? Well, I must say for many years, I've written many books. I have engaged in many conversations with many academics from around the world, and we have talked about this subject a lot. The customer has the freedom of choice, and because they have the freedom of choice, it makes it somewhat difficult for unscrupulous business leaders to keep customer for life. But is there really a way to sustain the interest of the customer for a lifetime? There's a lot that I'm going to be unpacking here, so stay with me. But I want to bring you back to everything that I had said at the beginning. This client-customer relation, it is a subject matter that has to be taken serious. Most marriage break up because someone of the spouses took the other one for granted. You didn't take enough time to learn the dreams and hopes and aspirations of your spouse, the needs and wants and expectation of the spouse, and rise to the occasion to deliver above and beyond expectations. You disregard all of that. You get too comfortable in the comfort zone. So some party begin to feel dissatisfied, and then things begin to go downhill. That all happened because you didn't constantly collect information. You didn't constantly analyze information. You didn't constantly level information to impact your spouse. You didn't mitigate information in such a way to adapt to change in reality. So you allow a good thing to go bad. The same principle applies to you and your customer base. How much time are you investing to continuously collect sensitive data, analyze sensitive data, leverage data in the right way, and mitigate information in the right way so as to ensure that you are constantly nurturing a highly motivated client customer base? Some people believe that once you get married, there is no more motivation that takes place. Oh crap. That is something that you have to invest in for life. And take it from me, I have been there for over 20 years. You need to invest constantly into ensuring, and this is vice versa, that you have a highly motivated spouse, that you have a highly motivated client customer base. It's a continuous process. But let's shift this, because in spousal relationship, in marriage, you want it to be last for a lifetime, but we know that over 50% of marriage ends, becomes a runaway train in a very short period of time. 50% just don't survive. All right. That's not what you want with your business. You want to be on a 50% range that is surviving, happily so, and you're excited about this marriage. So what are systems that you can put in place to ensure that this client customer relation lasts a life? Well, I'm going to share some different ideas. Depending on where you are in the world, it may appeal to you. Now, one of the things that I want to establish is that you can get listed as an IPO. In the event that you want it, what is an IPO? An IPO means initial public offer. And as a public traded company, you are possibly making shares to your customer base at a significantly lower cost. What that is immediately doing, it is creating the avenue for your customer not only to come make purchase at your place of business, but as they make purchase, they get annual return. Because guess what else happening here? They are essential part of profit sharing, because you have listed an IPO, initial public offer, probably then you go public, and you now have your loyal customer base that is investing with you, and you are putting monies back into their pocket. This is a two-way street, because as you become an IPO, you're now able to raise capital. Because you're able to raise capital, you are now able to expand your market share. You are now able to increase your profit margin, and you're able to grow. So while all of that is happening, because your customers, they are now stakeholders in this, they are limited partners, they are also getting annual dividend yield. Or you can set it up in such a way that they have multiple yields per year. Think about this. You have a successfully listed IPO, highly profitable, comply with environmental standards and all of these other stuff. So you're known, you're liked, you're trusted. Is that enough? All right. Is that different to create that situation where the customer have a motive to be with you for a lifetime? Think about this. Are we giving this information to you free? And just think about what you will get when you come into our community. We have so much more to give. All of these things can go a very far way to nurture highly motivated client customer base, because it's the customer that comes is not a one-time experience. You're creating a lifetime experience for your ideal client. And that's part of what you're doing to nurture the highly motivated customer base. You see, starting and scaling a business is a very exciting thing, but I must say to you, it requires a lot of creative thinking. It requires a lot of strategic thinking. It requires the right leadership. You have to be the visionary. In the absence of this, you can compromise the potential of that business to be successful. My role is to provide you with as much information as possible to give you the winning formula to be successful, because I want to see you win. You can win. You were born to win, but you need to get the right information so you can truly make the smartest, wisest decision. You see, gold is gold regardless of, if you find it or not. There's gold deposits in the earth, and when you find that gold, it's gold. That gold is gold. It's like saying you were born to win. You have the winning abilities and potential inside of you, but just like that gold, when you find that gold, you got to polish that gold, you got to refine that gold, and then it becomes a wearable, luxury item. The same thing with you, you and your business. I believe in you. I believe that your business is a goal, and your business needs to be refined. And with the right specialists who understand how to refine that goal, you can be a gem in the sky. And that's what I wish for you, each and every one of you. IPO is one method that you can use to create that customer for life and create and co-manage customer related ETF. That's another concept. And here is where we are talking about some different approaches to manage your business, different approaches to impact your ideal client, different approaches to nurture the highly motivated client customer base. Is it possible to create an ETF? You create and you co-manage a customer-based ETF. And what is ETF? Exchange Trade Fund. What about this as a hack? And one of the reasons I'm going to mention ETF is because ETF are some of the safest investment portfolios. They are very low risk portfolios because of the deep analysis that is done. And it's only the cream of the crop very often find themselves as ETF. The amount of due diligence that is done behind ETFs makes it a very safe form of investment. And there are multiple ways in which this can go about. You can go about this. Now, I want you to be smart about this because this is something that you have to think through thoroughly. You need to be certain that you have the experts on your side to help you to make highly informed and educated decision in relation to that, because there are very smart ways in which you can do this. Is it possible to create your own ETFs? Is it possible to create your own investment portfolio? You can. All right, you can. This is what we do with some of our partners who are specialists in this field, and we'll be happy to share this body of knowledge with you, because again, we are talking about practical steps that you can do to attract the ideal client and maintain healthy, productive relationship with your ideal client for a lifetime. All right. So these are important concepts that I'm thinking to sharing with you. And I just want you to pause a bit and really think about this and what can do. What I love about this portfolio or the ETF is that it has so many advantages to it. And think about your business having this as strength. You're now able to differentiate from what the competition is doing. And you have an added, substance, an added value to offer your customers to bring them over to you that the competition don't have. So the stronger you look in these regards, is the more appealing you become, is the better you're able to command attention, pique interest, arouse desire, move the client into action and make impact, because you have all of these impact strategies that are set up. None of this can be achieved accidentally. You have to be intentional about it. And that means that you have to have the knowledge worker, the subject expert that can really help you navigate the development of these portfolios. Is it possible to also look at creating and co-managing index funds, customer-based index funds? Again, index funds are some of the safest investment portfolios. Perhaps you can negotiate with ETFs specialists. Perhaps you can negotiate with specialist index funds. But at the end of the day, what you're doing, you are exposing your customer base to smart ways of making money through your presence, through your services. So there's a plethora of things that could be done. And ETFs and index funds, and there's so much more that I can talk about. They give higher yield. While interest may give you 0.1%, you have ETFs and index that is given 4, 5, 6, multiple percentage that you can get more. Think about how your customer base will feel about you when you're able to take these creative steps to create impact with the ideal client, to nurture highly motivated client customer base. Just think about it. Food for thought. Now, the last concept that I'm going to talk about today is how to position your MVO. Now, all that I've talked about so far today falls under your MVO, your minimum viable offer, or this could be your most viable offer. But now that you have defined what is your minimum or most viable offer, how do you position this in front of the ideal client? Again, I'm doing a high level overview here because once you innovate, once you create these high impact strategies, you want to ensure that it is reaching the ideal client. And there's a process in which you use it. Again, I want to bring you back to two theses that we have developed. The one is called the ideal client stress test ladder, because as you position your MVO in front of the ideal client, there's a lot that you need to know about the ideal client before you can actually do that. If not, you're going to be wasting time and money. You're going to create stress, have sleepless nights, and you're going to send your blood pressure up. And that's not what you want. And that's why you need data. So what I will do, I will quickly walk you through what is the ideal client stress test ladder and what is the client conversion ladder. So I need you to have this information. As you begin to invest in brand positioning, again, I want to emphasize the importance of doing the ideal client stress test ladder. There are 6 important concepts that you need to understand. You need to, 1, establish brand relevance. 2, you need to establish brand market viability. You need to understand market accessibility, market urgency, the market ability to pay, and the market willingness to pay. These are important concepts that you need to understand. If you're talking to a demographic that don't have the ability to pay, perhaps it's not your ideal client. If you're talking to a demographic that don't have the willingness to pay, perhaps it's not your ideal client. If you're talking to a demographic that don't have the urgency and immediacy, perhaps that's not your ideal client. So I'm emphasizing this to really show you why understanding the ideal client stress test ladder is so important, because not knowing this means that you are investing your time, talent, and resources, human, technical, and capital resources, to move a process forward that wasn't meant to move forward in the first place. But you don't know that because you have never stress tested the ideal client. You don't have the data. So I'm going to pause there for now. I go much deeper into these concepts. So look back at the last 6 to 8 podcasts that I've released to get more of what I'm saying here. Last but not least, as you position your MVO, you're positioning your MVO because you want to convert. But there's the client conversion ladder, and you need to know what is the client conversion ladder to optimize impact. So there's a sequence of things that you must understand. You must invest in value and relationship. You rise and fall on relationship. Relationship is the mother of all social systems. So if you're not adopting this as part of your business ecosystem, there lies a challenge. You need to understand visibility. And I'm going to talk just a little bit about visibility, because when we talk about visibility, it means that you must understand 4 important platforms in which you get visible. For example, are you leveraging mass media? Are you leveraging social media? Are you leveraging the metaverse and independent communication channel? These are the only 4 platforms in which you get visible from. But there's a right and wrong way as to how you up-level information into these ecosystems. And if you up-level information in the wrong way, you're going to hurt yourself. The same principle applies here. Are you collecting information, analyzing, leveraging it in the right way, mitigating it in the right way throughout the visibility ecosystem? If you are not, you can hurt yourself. You can create the avenue where you are engaging in wasteful spending because you don't have the data. You're creating the avenue because of wasteful spending. You are having stress and sleepless nights, and you're sending your pressure up. These things do happen. And you want to ensure that you are leveraging the preventative method as you figure out, as you navigate the world of business. And I love talking about the story. You know, there are 2 brothers, and one a doctor and one a business consultant. The one who's the doctor asks the brother who's the consultant the main reasons why people visit his office. The answer that the brother who's the consultant gave left the brother who's the doctor surprised, because what the brother said is that people visit his office for 4 reasons: preventative care, compulsory care, reverse care, and emergency care. He said the smartest, brightest people visit for preventative care. but they're few. A whole lot of people visit for compulsory care. You reach a point where you need that care and you can't suspend it. Some who are getting a little wiser, they visit for reverse care. But a whole lot of people visit for emergency care because guess what? You didn't take preventative care. You didn't take, compulsory care. You didn't take reverse care. So you wait for it to become an emergency and then you visit. That's when your business is at a crossroad of collapsing. Then you visit. And we have developed these formulas to ensure that you are able to take preventative care because the smartest, wisest, brightest people, they're investing in preventative care. And you must ask yourself, are you as smart and wise and talented like those bright people? And if not, why not? Because you too should be taking preventative care. So the client conversion ladder is part of that preventative care. So you're able to be given and exposed to information, gives you a step-by-step approach to achieve client conversion and to achieve the goal of nurturing a highly motivated client customer base. All right. So I trust that you would have enjoyed today's program. Today we cover a lot. We looked at market viability in the context of the SWOT analysis, but of course we look at some of the strengths. We look at strengths in the context of nurturing a highly motivated client customer base. Is this one of the strengths that your business have? All right. Do you have a highly motivated customer base? Because this is where the cash flow is going to come from. This is where the continuous streams of income is going to come from. This is where the potential to expand your operation is going to come from. But do you have strong systems here? All right. So we look at four important concepts under today's topic. We look at how to gain client customer attention, how to retain client customer attention, and how to attract customer for life, and how to position your MVO. You want to position your MVO in the heart, mind, and soul of the ideal client, and to do that, you need data. All right. So you constantly must be collecting information, analyzing information, up-leveling information in the right way, and mitigating information where it is necessary to ensure that you remain relevant to your ideal client. Again, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm like a Toastmaster. I wear many hats. And I must say it has been such a pleasure being here with you today. And in the event that you need information on what we discussed today, I do encourage you to reach out to us. It would be such a pleasure to expose you to my team and ensure that you have the right information. I want to say this. We don't take on a lot of clients annually because our business model, we give a lot of consultancy services, but clients that we take on that we're working with, they're in the few because we come in as private equity investors. We come into your business with the intention of making you a unicorn, and a unicorn is the type of business that want to grow and scale in the billions. And our focus is really focused on that and how we can take you there. So we can't take a whole lot of companies there annually because you don't want to spread yourself thin, and we want to give our undivided attention to the few companies that we are working with. So I'm happy to give you any support. Reach out to us. If I can't help to you, I will have one of my competent team leaders engage with you and ensure that you get the best information necessary to move your vision forward. Be blessed. Remember to like, subscribe, and share so you will be the first to get these content that we bring into you on a regular basis. See you in the next broadcast.
Elevate your business with 10X Branding and Marketing LLC. Our expert team specializes in enhancing your brand's visibility and connecting you with your ideal clients. We employ strategies that increase reach, leaving a lasting impact and driving client conversion. Trust and credibility are vital in businesses and excel in building them even with a limited budget. Our cost-effective approaches ensure you get the best results without overspending. Ready to boost your business cash flow? Contact us at 332-235-T99 and let 10X Branding and Marketing LLC guide you to success. Our focus is on elevating your visibility, which directly translates to growth. Experience the power of effective branding and marketing with us and witness your business thrive.